Hey everyone, this is going to be just my quick one-take review of my Specialized 2021 Turbo Levo SL Comp Aluminum in large. So first off, quick introduction, background on me. This is probably my 6th or 7th electric mountain bike. I've had ones from Giant, I've had ones from Norco and Trek, and this is my first Specialized unit, but I've been on the Yamaha platform, I've been on the Bosch platform, and now this is, Shimano as well, and now this is the Specialized SL 1.1 platform, so this is like the half power one. We'll get into that. A quick just rundown of the bike now is be a little bit appropriate. The build, we have the the Fox 34 Rhythm fork up front with Specialized Butcher tires on Roval 29er wheels, aluminum. The back, Roval wheels as well, Fox DPS. The brakes are SRAM Guide RE brakes. Note they aren't G2s, even though this is 2021. The drivetrain SRAM NX, I think 11 to 50 tooth or 12 to 50 tooth. Drivetrain, we have Praxis crank arms attached to the Specialized exclusive motor. All the touch points come factory as Specialized. This is a bridge comp saddle, I believe. I've swapped out the Specialized grips for ergons. SWAT tool, very nice, right in the thing. One thing to note is these SWAT tools, some of them come with in the steer tube, they'll have the chain tool and a little spot to keep an extra chain link, which is kind of handy. This one, or mine, didn't have that. I don't really know why they don't put it on all of them. They only put it on some of them. This is one of the controllers, the TCU display, power button, mode change button right here. I'm charging it right now, so this is registering about 70%. There's 10 LEDs. We have the mode control change on the handlebar here. Go down, up, assist, turbo, and then walk assist right on the bottom. Really nice integrated cockpit. They have the SRAM matchmaker on the droppers, and they have the SRAM matchmaker on the shifter as well, which makes for a really clean, neat cockpit. So 10 out of 10 marks for that. I really like the stem. Really nice machined aluminum stem. The other frame details that you can kind of take a look at is this rear linkage, very, very similar to what you'd find on a stump jumper. The FSR rear link suspension, again, basically straight from the stump jumper. Really nice chain guide, really nice protection right here. Basically perfect. Cable routing is excellent, comes out right here. Gets right routed up this and up to there, so perfect. The rear brake, you can see just pops out there. So cable routing, 10 out of 10. Frame details, honestly, 10 out of 10. I wouldn't expect anything more from them on the frame details, especially this with being an aluminum model. Specialized is the best in game with that. The motor is a 250 watt lightweight 1.1 SL motor is what they call it, custom made. They partnered with a manufacturer, so this motor you only find on Specialized bikes, and it's the half of a full power e-bike motor, hence the SL designation for super light. The bike itself probably weighs around 40 pounds. I haven't weighed it. It is significantly lighter than a full fat e-bike. You will notice that on the trail. It's easy to pop up. It's really playful. The extra weight from, probably the 10 extra pounds that this drive system has over just an aluminum bike, you don't really notice on the descents at all. It really just rides like a stump jumper, which is excellent. I noted before, so we have the old compound tires. Even though this is a 2021 model, they didn't put the updated compound, so these tires I didn't really groove with that well. I put around 1,200 kilometers on this bike over 3 months, so that's, 700-800 miles, I believe. Just a quick conversion in my head to give you an idea of how much I've rode on this. Single track flow, somewhat technical stuff, nothing too crazy. I'm not big on drops, nothing over, say, 5 or 6 feet for drops. It's a trail bike and it does well on trails. It's not an enduro bike, so that is what it is. It's excellent for that. my experience on everything. If we go through it quickly, the bike itself, the build, is exactly like a stump jumper. I've done a video on my 2021 stump jumper. The 2021 stump jumper has the updated G2 brakes and updated tires, but other than that, disregarding the battery and drive system, obviously, it's exactly the same bike, which is pretty crazy, because that stump jumper is significantly less. But the build kit is basically exactly the same. The motor and drive system have been phenomenal for me. No issues other than one ride. I have the range extender battery for this, and there's 2 different modes for the range extender battery that you can adapt in the app. One is to fully discharge the range extender battery first, and the other is to draw it down in parallel. So I switched the mode when both the battery and the bike were at different levels of battery charge, and I think that confused it, because on my ride home, I know I still had power left in my range extender. The main bike shouldn't have had any power left, but I should have still been able to operate with just the range extender. And it was throwing me motor error codes, and it kind of was going crazy. I had to do a full factory reset when I got home of the TCU system. And then it's been flawless ever since. So really, really good for an e-bike. I've had problems with other brands on the reliability front, so I'd give this a 9 out of 10 on reliability. Just docking at 1 because that kind of weird one off, which may have been fixed by new software. I don't have the latest software on this yet. Yeah, the drive unit, phenomenal. The ride characteristics, exactly like a stump jumper. The issue I have with this bike is a value proposition. When it was first introduced in 2020, it was the exact same build, same color and everything here. It was closer to around $8,000 Canadian. I think it was even $7,500. Since then, it's increased and increased and increased, just like a lot of other bikes. So I purchased it at $9,400 MSRP. So with taxes in my local province, basically $10,000. Now it's increased, I think, to $97 or $99. So you're over $10,000 with taxes on this bike now, which is pretty crazy when you consider that this really has a mid-spec on it. Like SRAM NX, only one step up from the lowest end. The Fox is the lowest end Fox you can really buy. It's kind of wild. A stump jumper, 2021 stump jumper, as I said before, has the exact same build kit. Comes in around $4,500 now after their latest price increases. So you're basically paying double. You're paying double for this drive unit and this controller, and I guess the engineering behind it. And that's, I don't know, for myself, the value's not there in this bike. It's excellent and it rides great, and it's like riding a full e-power or full electric mountain bike on their level 2 or level 3 assist, like that trail but not quite eco. When you're doing full assist on this bike, it's kind of that level of assistance. If you aren't riding with anybody else, you won't really notice that it's like completely underpowered. Like you'll feel like you're ripping really good. But as soon as you start to go on a group ride with people that have a full power e-bike, you will get left in the dust. You won't have as much range. You really aren't going to be able to keep up to those bikes because they can go in level 3, and that'd be the equivalent of your turbo. Yeah, it's just not. When I say level 3, I mean level 3 out of 5. I know this bike only has 3 levels of assistance, but I'll say like 60% assistance on a full fat is equivalent to this turboed. So really, if your buddies go to the level 4 or 5 and they're in their turbo mode on a full e-bike, you'll be left in the dust. You won't have enough power, you won't have enough range to keep up. That being said, the one cool thing about this is you can take this bike on rides with people that don't have e-bikes, and it's kind of a nice, it levels the playing field if your cardio just isn't there. If you have some really in shape friends, you can put this in level 1, level 2, very quiet, and just kind of hums along, and you won't really be that frustrated. Well, your friends might get frustrated with you because you'll have the extra power behind you cheating a little bit, but it's okay riding with other people that don't have e-bikes. I've even taken this bike on multiple rides, 2 or 3 rides without any assistance. So I'll turn the bike on because the one cool thing about this is it has a power meter on this on the system. So if you have a Garmin head unit, it'll wirelessly connect. I mount mine up there, and it'll give you your power output, which is kind of cool because power meters are pretty expensive nowadays. But anyways, I've taken this bike on rides without any assistance and 2-3 hour rides, and I'm still fine. Like, this motor has very little resistance or power loss when you don't have any assistance on it. Lowest I've rode. Like, I would never ride any full fat e-bike without assistance like that. So that is one cool thing. So if you are in the middle and maybe you're getting a little bit older and you just need a little bump to ride with acoustic bikes, this is a good ticket. This is not the ticket if you want to ride with a group of full power e-bikes. You will not be able to keep up. And that's just is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. Even with the range extender, you're at 500 watt hours of battery on your turbo. That's only gonna last you 2-3 hours. These new e-bikes coming out with 700 watt hour, 900 watt hour main units that can kind of, if you're in turbo, or sorry, if you're in their trail or eco mode, like you can go 4, 5, 6 hours on these new e-bikes and you'll get left in the dust with this thing. And the other aspect of this is the cost proposition of it. So the basically $4,500 more than just a regular stump jumper, and actually a worse spec other than the motor and drive unit. And then it gets even worse is the full fat Turbo Levo comp aluminum build right now in Canada. It's roughly around $1,200 cheaper than this. And for that, you get a 700 watt hour battery, you get the full power Bros motor, and you get SLX drivetrain, and you get a Fox 36, and you get the Fox float with the piggyback on it, the DPS X2, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but anyways, it's a better shock, better front fork, better drive, and you get twice the motor, twice the battery capacity. And it almost feels like twice the bike for less money, which is kind of weird. This would be, in my opinion, this would be a really cool bike, really desirable if it was, say, a $2,000 or $3,000 upgrade over a stump jumper, putting it right in that like $6,000 range Canadian. This would be an excellent bike, and I would recommend it to everybody, because for that, you can ride it with your friends. You can just get that little extra boost when you're going on solo rides. It'd be excellent, but current prices, $10,000 for this, hard to recommend it. The value is just not there. You're with other value brands like Giant and Trek, Norco, you can get a lot more bike. But that being said, if you have the money and you're willing to pay for it, Specialized does do things better. The wiring on this, really thick gauge, really nice weather-tight connections. I've had it apart. This unit is really slick to have it here. This is the best cockpit setup of any electric bike, in my opinion. I would take this even over the new carbon fiber Gen 4 Levos with the display here, because you put your Garmin unit up here and I just want to see battery. That's all I care about. So I'd actually take this over the speedometer here, because I think the speedometer here is too low when you're riding. You're going to want it up there on your Garmin anyways. The connections are just so beefy. They're screw-on, lock-on style. They're completely weather-tight. They did an excellent job of the electrical system, and you pay for it, but they did an excellent job. And the app is second to none. It's really easy to use. It's really secure. Your code for your Bluetooth code is just attached. You just undo this bolt, and then the parent code's right here, and it's just excellent. The app, you can fine-tune all your assistant levels. It's worked great. You're able to check on what firmware you have. It does a self-diagnostic. That app, I would estimate, is, I don't know, 3 to 4 years ahead of any other app that I've used. I've used the Bros app. The Yamaha has the app. Those guys, I don't know, they're leagues behind Specialized. A Shimano controller. Shimano has a similar controller style to this, but the wiring is just like spaghetti, super low quality. This is excellently done, weather sealed wiring. It's perfect. So you are paying extra for it. Everything that you do pay, like, there is no major letdowns on it. The build quality is excellent. I've had no issues under that, other than that one little hiccup, sorry. So that's my review of this bike. So 800 miles in, 1,200 kilometers. I'm selling it now, kind of moving on to something else, but it is cool to try this half power thing. For myself, I will not be buying another half power e-bike. I can see in 5 years, full power e-bikes are going to be in this weight and this platform. They're going to get the power density of batteries up. this motor. I don't see why there's any reason why they can't fit 500 watt brushless motor into this footprint. So you're kind of looking at the future of full fat e-bikes here, in the sense of this is what I foresee in the next 5 years. Give the Levo maybe 2 more generations, and I bet you dollars to donuts, it will look like this and be full power and have 700 watt hours of power and be as efficient. In regards to the range I get, if we do full power with just the bike itself, you're at around 2 hours of ride time. So if you're climbing, you're gonna have less kilometers, but it's basically 2 hours from my experience. The range extender does not add an hour, it adds about 45 to 30 minutes extra of riding. The other one thing to note that might frustrate a couple people is the voltage drop on the motor or the power drop. So on both, here's the range extender right here, pretty lightweight. I think it's about 1 kilogram. But so for the first 75% of the battery, both the main battery and this battery, you get 100% power. It's excellent. But that last 25, maybe 15% battery, if you're trying to discharge this first, or if you're discharging the main battery, you get a major power reduction. And it's really frustrating because it's on your last leg, your battery. Usually that's when you're heading home and you just want to turbo home because you're cold, you're tired, you're just ready for the day to be over. And that last 20%, the assistance drops down to below even level 1 assistance. And that is super frustrating. If you set the bike to discharge the range extender first, you'll get into that in after your first 40 minutes of riding on turbo, it'll grind to a halt. And for maybe the next 5-10 minutes, you'll be at a way lower assistance level than you want. And it's like super frustrating actually. So I always have, since with a little bit more experience, have been setting these to discharge in parallel and then charging both of them less. And that's just a little gripe you have to live with, is even with both of the batteries drawing down in parallel, that last 15% is still brutal. I don't know if this is going to get better with the software update. In my experience, lithium-ion batteries just shouldn't have that much voltage drop or like current drop at a lower charge state. Usually it's when they're dead, they're fully dead, but they don't have that power drop off usually. So that's something Specialized may have looked into on the new software updates. You can comment down below if you have this bike and they fixed that on the new software update, but it is frustrating. So that is one thing to keep in mind. Your bike, if you buy one of these bikes and you run into that, you'll know exactly what I mean. If you have any questions, comments, just put them down in the comment section. Really, this bike, if you're buying it, just be aware the value's kind of not there. But if you have the money, it is a good bike, and I can't knock it for everything that it promises to be. It is, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend this to everyone. Buy a full fat Levo, save $1,500, and get better components is my current opinion of the situation here. Thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll address any questions in the comments below.